Today, we journey through the realms of myth and legend, where towering figures cast shadows that stretch across the tapestry of human imagination into the realm of giants, those colossal beings whose presence loom large in the folklore of the cultures around the world. But today's focus will be on the Americas. According to Native American mythology, several ancient tribes have woven tales of a mighty race of giants that once roamed their lands. We will delve into the intriguing legends passed down through generations, from the Choctaw and the Comanches of the United States and to the Manta of Peru, uncovering the captivating stories that speak of these colossal beings, whose presence in the annal of Native American folklore sparks curiosity and raises questions about a bygone era. Is there any actual evidence concerning the giants of Americas? And what happened to these giants? Let's try and find out.
Hello, I'm Mike Droberg, a Marine Corps veteran and filmmaker, and we will try to answer these questions on today's episode of Forgotten History.
According to Horatio Bardwell Cushman's 1899 book, History of the Choctaw, Chickasaw, and Natchez Indians, the tradition of the Choctaws spoke of a race of giants that once roamed the now state of Tennessee, and with whom their ancestors fought when they arrived in Mississippi after their migration from the west. Their tradition states that the Nahulu were a race of giants that were of immense stature. Cushman said the Nahulu came to be used to describe all white people, but it originally referred specifically to a giant white race which were said to be cannibals, and that the Choctaw killed them whenever the opportunity arose. The Choctaw people have several stories about mammoths and the Nahulu that surprisingly turned out to be true. In the southern and western parts of the continent, there have been discoveries of mammoth skeletons and large human-like bones, proving the existence of these creatures and the Nahulu. These findings were unknown to the white settlers until the excavation of their bones provided evidence. The Choctaw traditions were dismissed as mere Indian stories, but the discovery of a huge skeleton in Hunt County, Texas in March of 1877 changed that perspective. Chief Rolling Thunder of the Comanches, a tribe from the Great Plains, gave the following account of an ancient race of white giants in 1857. He stated, innumerable moons ago, a race of white men, 10 feet tall, and far more rich and powerful than any white people living now, inhabited a large range of country, extending from the rising to the setting sun. Their fortifications crowned the summits of mountains, protecting their populous cities, situated in the valleys. They excelled every nation which flourished, either before or since, in all manners of cunning handicraft. They were brave and warlike, ruling over the land they had wrestled from its ancient possessors with a high and haughty hand. Compared with them, the pale faces of present day were pygmies in both art and arms. The chief explained that when this race forgot justice and mercy and became too proud, the Great Spirit wiped them out, and all that was left of their society were the burial mounds still visible today. This account was documented by Dr. Donald Panther Yates, a researcher and author of books on Native American history. Yates also writes of the Starnake people of Navajo legend, describing them as a regal race of white giants endowed with mining technology who dominated the West, enslaving lesser tribes, and had strongholds all over the Americas. They were either extinguished or went back to the heavens. In 1553, Pedro Cienza de Leon wrote in the Chronicles of Peru about legendary giants described to him by the Manta people. There are, however, reports concerning giants in Peru who landed on the coast at the point of Santa Elena. The natives relate the following ancestral tradition. There arrived on the coast, in boats made of reeds, as big as large ships, a party of men of such size that from knee downwards Their height was as great as the entire height of an ordinary man, though he might be of good stature. Their limbs were all in proportion to the deformed size of their bodies, and it was a monstrous thing to see their heads, with hair reaching to the shoulders. Their eyes were as large as small plates. Leon said that the sexual habits of the giants were revolting to the natives, and that heaven eventually wiped out the giants because of those sexual habits. The Paiutes, a Native American tribe indigenous to the parts of Nevada, have an oral tradition that they told to early white settlers of the area about a race of red-haired white giants that their ancestors referred to as the Sitka. The story was written down in 1882 by Sarah Winnemucca Hopkins, daughter of the Paiute Indian chief, in her book Life Among the Paiutes, Their Wrongs and Claims. These giants were described as being vicious, unfriendly, and cannibalistic. The Paiutes spoke of a great battle that took place, which led to their extermination at a site known today as Lovelock Cave. During the early part of the 20th century, archaeologists found thousands of artifacts inside this cave, leading to a lengthy excavation of the site and speculation that the Paiute legend was real. As the Paiute tale goes, after years of warfare, all the tribes in the area joined together to rid themselves of the Sitka. One day, the tribes chased down the last remaining red-haired giants, and they took refuge in a cave. The Paiutes demanded their enemy to come out of the cave and fight, but the giants refused. The coalition of tribes proceeded to shoot arrows at them while starting a large fire at the mouth of the cave. The smoke drove out a few who died in the hail of arrows, while the rest were either burned alive or asphyxiated. Over time, the entrance to the cave would collapse, leaving it accessible only to bats and cut off from human contact. Lovelock Cave is located 20 miles south of modern-day Lovelock, Nevada. In 1886, a mining engineer from Lovelock named John T. Reed was told of the legend by local Indians, who took him to the site to prove it existed. Reed was unsuccessful in getting an archaeological dig started immediately, but two miners, James Hart and David Pugh, realized the value of the guano as an ingredient of gunpowder and created a company to start digging it out in 1911. They stripped a layer of guano from the cave, approximately 3 to 6 feet deep, using a pick and shovel with little regard to the artifacts, and shipped some 250 tons of it to the Hawaiian Fertilizer Company in San Francisco. Alfred Kroeber, who started the anthropology department at the University of California, got a message from Hart and Pugh about discovering ancient artifacts. This got the first dig in Lovelock going in 1912, led by L.L. Loud from the same university. Another dig happened in 1924, and after all the digging, Loud worked on a report published in 1929. What Loud discovered was astonishing. Around 10,000 artifacts, such as tools, bones, baskets, and weapons were found during the excavations. Also, according to the report, 60 average height mummies were unearthed. Duck decoys, amongst the oldest known in the world, with feathers still attached to them, and a sandal over 15 inches long were excavated. A donut-shaped stone with 365 notches carved along the outside and 52 corresponding notches inside was found, which some scientists believe is a calendar. Radiocarbon dating done on follow-up visits found vegetable material dating back to 2030 BC, a human femur dating back to 1450 BC, human muscle tissue dating back to 1420 BC, and basketry dating back to 1218 BC. Archaeologists concluded from this that the human occupation of Lovelock Cave by this culture started in 1500 BC. Today's anthropologists call the people who live in the area the Lovelock culture, with a period lasting some 3,000 years. Many archaeologists believe that the Lovelock culture was replaced by the northern Paiutes. During the initial excavations, there were reports of mummified remains being found of two red-haired giants. One was a female, 6.5 feet tall, and the other a male that was over 8 feet tall. However, the bones have since mysteriously disappeared. In conclusion, we find evidence of towering figures of Native American legends in the remarkable findings of the archaeological digs. While the line between fact and fiction may still be blurry, the enduring fascination with these colossal beings persists, urging us to continue unraveling the mysteries that connect the realms of folklore and history. So what are your thoughts on the giants of Americas? Let us know in the comments below.
Thank you for watching Forgotten History. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you have any comments or show ideas, we'd love to hear from you. Thanks again.